Welcome. It's week 6 here at Grantham University, and my name is Ryan Toth. Today we're going to do an informative speech. I have chosen to do my informative speech on tobacco use in the United States. Now, tobacco use has been in a steady decline over the past 40 to 50 years. There have been a lot of laws passed to make some radical changes in the way cigarettes are sold, tobacco is sold to minors, adults, and the like. In America, the peak usage was in 1965. According to the CDC, 42.4% of adults in the United States were daily tobacco users. This is not sociable use. This is not, I tried it. This is daily users of tobacco, 42.4% of Americans. That leaves about the other half that have to deal with the tobacco use, the secondhand smoke, the spitting in bottles and jars that chew tobacco users do. That was probably not a good time if you did not enjoy cigarette smoke. Now what about high school and middle schoolers? 1997 was the peak use. That's only 20 years ago. According to the CDC, in 1997, 36.4% of middle schoolers and high schoolers had used one cigarette in the previous 30 days when they were asked for this survey. That is a lot of middle schoolers and high schoolers, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds using cigarettes and chewing tobacco. Today, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, in the year 2015, 4.7 million middle and high schoolers were tobacco users. Although tobacco use by adolescents has declined substantially in the last 40 years, nearly 1 in 17 high school seniors were daily users. This is not sociable users, daily users. 1 in 17. Our high school classes in metropolitan areas are usually double that size. There's at least 2 kids in each classroom smoking a cigarette when they get outside of school, when they get in their cars going home, behind their parents' backs. That's a lot of kids. Now, tobacco use does fall differently in racial and ethnic groups. White teens are much more prone to being tobacco users, much more than their Hispanic or black peers. And smoking rates are typically higher in non-metropolitan areas, especially in the South and Midwest. Now, there's been a lot of things change since about 1980 that has helped with the decline in tobacco use. There were many lawsuits filed against the tobacco industry in the 80s because of the harmful effects of its products. And smoking has become politically incorrect. Bans on smoking in public started in the 1980s. 1982, the Surgeon General reported that secondhand smoke may cause lung cancer. That means you don't even have to be a current user to get it. Just smelling or breathing in the smoke could cause you lung cancer. 1985, lung cancer, #1 killer of women in America. Takes the lead from breast cancer. That's serious stuff. In 1987, Congress banned smoking on all domestic flights, less than 2 hours. In 1990, smoking is banned on all domestic flights, except ones to Alaska and Hawaii. During 1980s and 90s, the tobacco industry started marketing heavily outside of the U.S., especially in underdeveloped countries in Asia and Africa. And Marlboro is considered the world's #1 most valuable brand of any product. It was valued over $30 billion in the 80s and 90s because they moved outside of the U.S. due to these tighter restrictions. And recent years, there's growing evidence that the tobacco industry knew all along that cigarettes were harmful, but continued to market and sell them. It was all about the money. There's even evidence that they knew nicotine was addictive and exploited this hidden knowledge to get millions of Americans addicted to this dangerous habit. That's terrible. Those facts were according to the Boston University Medical Center. Now, where does tobacco come from? Tobacco is a plant that grows natively in North and South America. It's in the same family tree as potatoes and pepper. But guess what? It's also in the same family tree as the poisonous nightshade, which is a deadly plant. The seed of a tobacco plant is so tiny, you can fit about 300,000 tobacco seeds in a 1-ounce sample. And it was believed that tobacco began growing in the Americas in about 6,000 BC. That's a heck of a long time ago. And as early as 1 BC, American Indians began using tobacco in religious and medicine for medicine. Tobacco was believed to be a cure-all. They used it to dress wounds, they used it as a painkiller, and they believed it relieved toothaches. When Christopher Columbus arrived in America in 1492, his first gift from American Indians was, you guessed it, tobacco. Soon after, sailors were bringing back the tobacco to Europe. It was a huge export from the Americas, and the plant was beginning to be grown all over Europe. The major reason for tobacco's growth and popularity in Europe was its supposed healing properties. They believed also that it could cure almost everything. In fact, in 1571, a Spanish doctor named Nicolas Monardes wrote a book, and in this book he claimed that tobacco could cure 36 separate health problems. Again, this is according to the Boston University Medical Center. In the 1600s, tobacco was so popular, it was frequently used as money. And when it was used as money, sometimes it was even more valuable than gold. The first crop grown in America for money, not corn, not potatoes, not rice, tobacco. Tobacco was the first cash crop ever grown in the Americas. In 1760, the first company was established to process tobacco, cigars, and snuff. It was called the P. Lorillard, and it is the oldest tobacco company in the United States today. In 1776, the American Revolutionary War was financed with tobacco sales. It even served as collateral for loans from France to America. France took tobacco as collateral from America to finance loans. Think about that. In 1826, nicotine was finally discovered in its pure form to be deadly. Soon after, scientists concluded that nicotine was a dangerous poison. That's 1826. They found out that it was a deadly poison. This is according to the Cambridge Tobacco Education Program. 1826. And we were smoking it 100 years later thinking it still cured cancer. 42.6% of Americans in 1965 were using this stuff on a daily basis. And 150 years before that, we knew it was a deadly poison. Not very bright. Not very bright at all. This wraps up my speech here at Grantham University today. I hope I informed you one or two things that you didn't know about tobacco. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to let me know. Respond to this video. Respond to me. And I enjoyed speaking with you all today. Have a nice evening. Thank you.